All right, just in case it didn't start on time. Hey, aloha guys, Eric West here, HawaiiRealEstate.org, coming to you live from the beautiful island of Maui, Hawaii. Thank you so much for joining in on the live. I'm coming to you today with two of my most favoriteest people in the whole world. And we're just gonna do a quick, what they kind of say in Hawaii, talk story. We're just gonna talk some story. We're sitting here at what Christian pointed out is one of the most favoritist, best snorkel spots, believe it or not, in all of Maui, which is of course Whole Foods. Forgot the microphone was there. Hopefully you heard some of that. But Whole Foods, and why do you think Whole Foods is one of the best snorkel spots? Underrated.
It is underrated, yeah. You know what's funny about this snorkel spot? It is probably the premier snorkel spot.
More visitors than anywhere else, probably in the whole Hawaiian
What's wild
Islands.
about it though is usually the locals find out first. You know, usually the locals would know. But it's the tourists. It's actually the people who have never been here before.
Right, the first time ever landing on Maui or arriving on Maui.
Exactly.
And why is it that they come to Whole Foods?
Because the cruise ship drops them off across the street from Whole Foods in the Ugly District. And
they've got their snorkel gear, right? They got all their beach gear.
Right.
They're ready to rock and roll. And let me tell you, Kaului Harbor is not a place you want to go snorkel anytime soon. And Daniel, why is it that you wouldn't want to go snorkel in Kaului Harbor?
Probably not enough circulation of the water in between there. Whatever happened whenever they're dumping out the latrine off of the
That's
sailor's
one reason.
boat.
Could be.
I tell you, I can just listen to your voice talk when you do the intro. I feel like I'm going to mess things up.
Hey guys, this is Blind Daniel. Of course, I just like to call him Daniel, and I like to sing the song, Daniel, my brother, you are younger than me. Do you still feel the pain? Take it from there.
Of the scars that won't heal, your eyes have died, but you see more than I. Daniel, you're a star in the face of the sky.
Bum, 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 bum. So Daniel is a star. He is a future YouTube star. And let me tell you, the channel that I think he's about to launch is called, what's it called? It's the coolest title ever.
Oh, Daniel Bennett, No Looking Cooking?
No Looking Cooking.
In the Blind Guy's Kitchen?
In the Blind
Daniel
Guy.
Bennett at the Blind Guy's Kitchen. I didn't really get to say so. My agent named it that.
But you do a lot of cooking. And it's like, what were you telling me earlier? Like if you think you have a hard time cooking, you have no excuse, because something like that, right?
Well, we go on a time warp every day in the Blind Guy's Kitchen. You could always tune in for whatever's going on. A little prep between ferments, drinks, sourdough bread, other combinations off the stove and prep table, or you can consolidate ideas. And when you have to do certain vegetables or other preps, and more than one thing at a time, whatever's going on, so that you maximize your potential, because it's exhausting cooking, and one at a time, between composting, developing your own soundtrack,
Developing on soundtrack.
and keeping it succinct and organized.
You just threw that in there.
Try
Right
to
there.
doing
Hang
it-
on, can we just back that up for a second? He
Yeah.
just said that he's going to develop his own soundtrack in the same sentence as doing cooking. So that tells you a little bit about this guy, because he is a musician and a poet, and you're sort of like a Bob Dylan meets, who would you be? What would you be the blend of? Bob Dylan meets who? KC and the Sunshine Band?
No, I would hope more like Trevor Hall.
I knew he'd say no, by the way.
Like, yeah, one of those, I think, or it would be great, like Dan Breams, Trevor Hall, John Jackson.
John, no, that's it. That's it. It was actually Jack Johnson. So you remind me, because you've done so much. This guy has spent so much time in the water that he's still got the gills. They're a little dry right now, although we did get them a little wet last weekend. But you got a little Jack Johnson in there. So if you're just tuning in, the theme of this video, we're kind of all over the map today, but that's just the way it is when you're on Maui, because you got to flow with the vibe. And you don't always know what the vibe is doing or where it's going or where it's heading, especially if you're in anywhere near Paia. Get ready, put on your seatbelt. But the purpose of this is we're going to talk a little bit about that Maui mindset and what is it that drives people to want to come here. They want to come here, they want to relax, they want to experience that Maui relaxation. They want to just really, they want to know what it feels like, you know, to be relaxed on Maui. And it's just one of those, I don't know what it is. It just has some kind of an effect on people when they land. Have you know? I mean, this is sort of a great
I
example,
gotta change
right?
my
Would you admit?
answer. If I was
So-
gonna be like a musician, I want it to be like Adele or Lauren Daigle.
Anyway, so yeah, it's too
It's
funny.
fitting.
So,
Bearded lady.
and I promise you, we are not smoking anything. I
I can tell the
promise you
camera
that.
must be somewhere over here.
You're correct.
There's a, it could be a, could we be getting it by osmosis possibly, or just?
Oh, we get all that meat in us. You never know what we're gonna say.
So Daniel, you've lived here as a sighted individual. You moved here a long time ago. How many years ago? What year did you first move here?
Came here in the solstice of 2005. In
2005.
June.
And then you've been gone, and you just got back. But you were gone for what? 4 years? How long were you gone for?
Almost precisely 4 years. It was a harrowing adventure, and I didn't come back whole. And it took a long time to work it out, and as long as it took, it felt longer than that.
So what can you say is why do you think people are attracted to this place? What made you come to Maui, and what can you tell people what it was like living here during that time when you were just, you know, quote unquote normal, so to speak? What was it that drew you here? What kept you here?
I was looking to have something for contrast to the type of paddling and surfing I was attempting, and figured that one way to do it was in the mild waves of West Maui, where they're manicured and cute, and summertime is a real pleasant place.
They're manicured and cute. They're cute
I mean,
waves.
you get
yeah.
that wraparound.
Compared to the North Shore of Oahu, they are cute
They're
because the
so
North
much
Shore.
more organized, right?
They are, yeah.
And
So-
tame and fun. It's socialization, the beautiful backdrops, just those sunbeams going through clear water, a monk seal or two sitting on the rings you do and don't like, and then getting to contend with yourself.
So you think there's like an energy here that people are attracted to that's positive, but then it also has this other side to it where it sort of accelerates things. And what's the best way to explain that? I know
There's a
it's-
novelty to it, Eric. You know, you hear about Hawaii in general.
Yeah.
Maui has a sort of heart center energy, and there's a lot of wooey stuff that comes along with it, but some really conscientious and mindful people want to live their best life. They may feel like a misfit wherever they were. They're running from something, and they feel found when they get here.
Yep.
And either you get spit out or you just get taken. You know, some people, they feel it. They're willing to do what it takes. You're rounding off corners, trying to make things connect, living on a dime. You're over here realizing there's no need to change things. You might think there's a better way of doing something, but then you realize one day things have been getting done over here a long enough time that nobody's worried about doing it better.
Yeah.
It's the right attitude. You don't want to come start at the top. You come over here, you face opportunity. Everyone has their own story. You might want to do a little bit better than arriving with a bag of dirty laundry and $300 like I did. You know somebody even better if you have family, better still yet. If you can get tapped into Christian and Eric over here and the types of people, if your lifestyle is looking to live a life that's pure and self-actualization is something you're interested in knowing what you and who you are, then Keakua may have things in store for you over here. That's Hawaiian for God,
Yeah, it is.
Keakua.
So why is it that you suppose some people, as you say, just get ejected? Because I've seen it happen many times, and some people it just doesn't work for some reason. Can you quantify that or put some words around that make
That's
sense?
a good word, ejection. You know, there's some people that show up here, they found the house where it is that people are living in close quarters. They find themselves unable to make any connections of what they thought was a sure thing ends up being a real bum hand. They're maybe found their way to some sort of government support, or they're under a coconut palm with a cardboard box. And though it's not too uncomfortable for them, they find themselves missing their menstrual cycles, their typical biological standards are changing, their body is looking different. They're finding that it's the most miserable experience they've ever had in life sometimes. And they get by and they go back to the mainland, everything comes back into calibration.
Interesting.
Yet others find themselves in a way, something that's hard to do other than romanticize. You know, whether you have an affinity for the word, it kind of is like a romantic little enrichment of your life, and you may sacrifice one thing to keep into the waves or whatever reason people come to Hawaii. You know, there's like a workshop or some high frequency lecture or another interaction that's going on, and you find out that with experience of the transient energies here. So that's partly for me, is to really experience vicariously others on their best behavior where they've made it a special occasion, and that energy shares among the rest of the people that maybe want to entertain or understand the school. Mine was a CRX 1984 stick shift, navy blue. Really fast, front wheel drive, had those really fuzzy seat covers.
But if you guys are just, we had a little audio glitch there. I think I've got it fixed, I hope. Hopefully you're able to catch all that from Daniel. So my next question for you, Daniel, and then we're going to turn attention over to Christian here. But my next question for you, Daniel, now that you've lived here for just a few short months after getting, returning from your exile, so to speak, what would you say has the experience been? Of course, we know you were supposed to be on Front Street, that your apartment where you were supposed to be living burned, and you're a fire survivor in a very unique situation, and now you are in the upcountry. But what would you say your experience is now that you're here and you're not sighted any longer? Anything you want to share about that versus what it was like before?
I've never been so isolated feeling. The lifestyle is where I am is on a busier street where people are trying to dodge traffic lights, and for the amount of noise, pollution, there isn't enough of a social connection or reason for others to slow down for a minute and talk a little story. No coffee shop, no acai bowl place. There's no newspaper stand or
so it's not
yoga
like living
shala.
on Front Street like you thought it was
Right,
going to be. You thought you could cross the street and you
Sure,
would be
and
right
there'd
there.
be Baby Beach, beautiful, pristine, very calm, safe waters
Right.
in the shade of coconut palms, in proximity geographically very convenient, and nestled between two very accessorized grocery stores, among some other convenient and safe walking distance places to go and interact, places like the Banyan Tree, the harbor, the Mala Wharf, the Pagoda, Mala Dojo, restaurants and
so
eateries,
essentially what you're
coffee
saying
shops,
is
art
your
galleries,
current location
sunsets.
is challenging. So even though you're on Maui and
I'm
you're
blessed.
back home, it's just a little bit more challenging because you're feeling a little isolated in your current living
Right.
town, if you will, because there's not the same access to people and interactions as there would have been if you were down on Front Street.
Yes, sir. I feel bad about the people that I know that don't want to slow down on their way home, that may be going up country, and then when they're leaving, they've got somewhere to be, and they feel guilty probably for not making the time to come and enjoy some of my wonderfulness. So I'd like to put the invitation out there for those to visit me, and maybe we can do some arrangement with transportation and room and board with what limitations that I might be able to fudge in order to have visitors and come to the island for a reason that you think is your destiny to manifest. Share a little bit of experience with me, and I'll enjoy the story. Be able to figure it out. You'll have plenty of time and experience, and then maybe I can get some. It's like a creative way to sort of hack into my lack and create abundance out of it while we're still in transition. Everybody's learning new ways to do it, not only since COVID, but since the Lahaina fire. And
what's really cool is you know so much about Maui because you spent so many years here. You know so much about the flora, the fauna. You worked in that industry. You kind of know this place like the back of your hand. So I think you would be a good person for someone to connect with that's trying to learn the island. And the irony of it is that you can't see, but through your eyes, they could learn things about this place that they wouldn't normally see themselves.
wow, thanks, Eric. Blind Guy Tours.
Right next to the Blind Guy Kitchen. Yeah. So on that note, guys, I'm going to put a link in the show notes of this video when we get done. Not now, but after it's done and it's posted. Of Daniel's GoFundMe. We're continuing to help and provide financial support, doing the best that we can. And one of the reasons we've got Christian Henneke here is, if you guys remember from a few videos ago, he's my project manager for the Lahaina project and switchforlahaina.com. and you've been instrumental in helping get a business essentially kicked off here for people like Daniel and other people. And you're here for a few weeks, you've been all over the islands. You had a nice special time, I think, with your family, and now you're kind of batching it because you're sort of working right now,
Yeah.
So give us a few thoughts
Really
in terms
wish you
of
wouldn't
what
talk
you
like that.
what is it? Give us some thoughts. Give us some thoughts that you have in terms of. Oh, hang on. I think somebody wants to be on the channel, but I don't know if we want to go there, do we?
I don't know either.
So, give us some thoughts in terms of the Lahaina project and how things are coming along with various people that are
1999.
participating in the program.
Yeah, so I want to go back just a little bit. This came from. I'm gonna free up one of your hands.
Robert Mendez.
So I'm watching you sweat over here.
Yeah, it's all good.
So hey everybody, I was
Robert
saying
Mendez, rest in peace.
a few days ago, we've visited my family and I when we lived on Maui for 5 years, kind of all over Maui, and didn't spend much time on the other islands. But this recent trip, we spent about a month visiting the islands, and when we landed on Maui, we knew Maui no Ka'oi.
Right.
It is the best. Now that I've spent, I feel like a lot of time on all the islands, I love them. Maui's the best.
There's no question, right?
Yeah, there really is no question. I've
Yeah.
heard it said. So when we came here from South Florida, I've been married 25 years now, of 2 boys. We came here for a visit, and I turned in my rental car and bought a car. It was a beach beater. Loved that car. It was a Honda Element.
You got to have the Maui beater, no matter
Yeah.
what, right?
Totally.
Cruiser.
Yep.
So anyway,
Oh, were we asking if we're good here?
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Blackout.
I know.
There we go.
Technical
Aloha.
issues, they just flow. So I
So
don't
was
know.
that your first car in Hawaii, Christian?
That was the first one in Hawaii.
So
yeah.
maybe take that from the top. You were here on vacation.
Yeah, so we came here for vacation, and I was thinking about your question to Daniel, and
Yep.
does the island gonna reject you, or are you gonna be able to settle here and love it?
Oh, it makes me
We-
smile, man. My first car on Maui. That's different than my first car ever, but there's another special sparkle about that one.
More stories. So we landed.
on vacation.
We rented a car. We did what people normally do. We started to look around, and I was so blown away. It's hard to put into words.
I miss driving.
If you've been to Maui, you know what I'm talking about. When you land and you get your first breath
The air
of
hits you.
Maui air.
Yep.
Oh man, I knew I was home. And been a lot of places in the world, and this is the only place that's ever felt like home to me. So I love being here. But yeah, a few days after we landed, I turned in our rental car and bought a car. We didn't have a house. We didn't have a plan. I just knew this was home.
But you had a car, which is really
We had a
technically
car.
all you need. Or at least that's all some people need. Which is a little scary, but
Yeah. So anyway, you asked about the project. So
yeah. So now you're here.
Yeah.
Now you're still in Texas, but you're kind of over here helping us with this project.
Yeah.
And you've had an opportunity to come spend some time here.
Yeah.
What's it like now that you don't live here? Because you lived here for what, like 4 years?
5 years.
5 years.
Yeah.
What's it like now that you're more of a visitor and you're not coming for the whole time? Is it what are those
It's-
feelings invoking?
It's a little sad.
Yeah, it's looming, right? That departure date's
Yes.
always looming, right?
Yes. I don't like having a departure date. Yeah, not at all. Anybody that's come here on vacation can identify,
Right.
can relate.
It's horrible. You just think
Yeah.
about it and it makes you sad.
Uh-huh,
And,
yeah.
and then that day comes and you're like, oh, here it is.
Who says
Yep.
you have to leave?
Early, yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
Who
I
made
kept
that
my
rule?
round trip ticket. I saved it. I still had it 6 months. It disintegrated eventually, but I didn't
It's
lose it.
disintegrated.
You
So I
left
watched-
after 4 or 5 years. I was still here 7 years before I left after arrival.
Wow.
I was watching planes
I didn't have
leave.
the means. I was still,
You know,
trying to.
Anybody ever have that experience? You're on Maui and you're watching planes leave, and you're like, oh, I feel bad for those people.
Or me living here now for like 13, 14 years, people come on vacation and it just shocks me. It's like, it's going to be over so fast. I mean, it's just,
Yeah.
I feel their pain,
Yeah.
but like in a heartbeat, they're flying back again. And I'm like, I'm so glad that's not me.
Yeah.
That's why you gotta know somebody like Christian, Eric, or me. come couch surf with me. We'll get a vehicle somehow. We'll maximize.
Come couch surf.
We will maximize it. You'll have your fill of coconuts.
Daniel's got a couch. If you want to come couch surf with him,
You want to get
he's
all
ready
of Maui
to go.
in quick. I mean, you got 2 weeks to give or less. We can maximize that.
So tell us a little bit about how the Lahaina project's going along, and for those people that are watching this that might not know, why are we even talking about this? Because ultimately, even though we're in a good mood and we're having a good time together here, we're still in the wake of the worst wildfire tragedy in the history of our country.
Yep.
Probably worse than what they've reported. And there's a lot of people that are hurting, and we've been trying to do what we can to help.
Right.
Daniel being one of those individuals. But give us just a quick elevator explanation of what the Lahaina Project is and how people can possibly participate if they want to.
So a few years ago, I realized the consumer goods landscape is dominated by just a few companies who own basically everything.
The elites?
The elites, yeah. And I think we're all supposed to imagine it as an open system where we have lots of choice. I realized with some research, it's not open at all. It's closed, and they own all of it or almost all of it. There's an off-grid manufacturer, though, that pays for referrals, and they're taking business. They've taken millions of consumers away from the elites, away from the conglomerates. And I approached Eric, and BlackRock's one of them. I see the comment.
Yep.
So I approached Eric, and the thought was, with the exposure that you guys, the audience, the viewing audience, here's the eyeballs, and they love Maui, and they want to help, and this just happened, and my thought was, everybody that's watching, they have, probably most of them have teeth and armpits, yeah. And if you have either of those, then you probably buy and run out of stuff, like the basic boring stuff of life. And unfortunately, I'm going to tell you, you're buying out of that closed system, and the elites are getting your money.
You're paying for Bruno Mars to go to the annual BlackRock party.
Exactly. Every week or two, the elites are getting your money. So this is all coming to me a few years ago, and anyway, we've been able to come together and put some locals, or basically hand opportunity. Thank you, Eric, and thank you to the viewers for this, to allow basically what my role has been to train some locals and some people who just have big hearts and want to help, in how to help us take business away from the elites, steer it back to family-owned, made in America, the people who help get paid really well, and it's just a really cool thing. These conglomerates, these elites, they get our money our whole lives as long as we're breathing. So if we switch, and here's the switch for Lahaina.com, if we switch where we get our basics for the rest of your life, hopefully, then the locals and the people working to help, now they've got, made in America, totally. They've got a stream of cash flow as long as we're all breathing, instead of the elites, which feels good.
And then, Christian, you got to tell them about the beef, because you know what? That's all I really care about. Tell them about and I think you were just at the ranch on Kauai.
I was.
Am I right? Did you see the cows I'm eating?
I did.
You did?
Yes.
Do they look as good as they taste?
Oh, yes. Oh, yeah, they do. Oh, man. So, yeah, beef. If I could only eat one thing for the rest of my life,
no doubt,
it would be cow.
And it would be Riverbend.
It would be Riverbend cows, specifically.
Because they have, no mRNA, no antibiotics, no growth hormones, pure Black Angus herd.
Yes.
That's been cultivated for a very long time, I believe. So it's a very good, solid, and there's no milk cows in it, which I know is a crazy thing to say, but they actually are crossbreeding milk cows with Black Angus and some other portion. And the meat industry is pretty much dominated by three players, right?
Three or four. Yeah, and the babies grow up with their mamas. It's like how it should be. It's how it should be. Juby, I'm in Central, so Georgetown is where I'm from.
Oh, in Texas?
Yeah. But yeah, Riverbend beef. There's not a better, cleaner beef source, at least commercially available anywhere in North America.
It's basically restaurant grade, prime, or high choice.
Yeah.
And its price is the same as what you'd buy at Costco, essentially.
Yeah.
So and you can get it delivered straight to your door.
Yep. Super
The
convenient.
biggest problem with the beef, I will say this is a real issue, and I don't think it can ever be fixed. I think it's just one of those things. I hate to say it to you, Christian, but the biggest problem is everybody eats it, and then you run out too fast, and the company limits you to one order. So that's a real problem, let me tell you.
One
Because
box a month.
in our family, we sandbag it hard. It's like, oh, I just found a T-bone. Not T-bone, but a
fillet.
A fillet was
Yeah.
stashed in the back underneath the broccoli or something. So they need to start allowing unlimited orders. But I know you can buy, the
You
a
can do
la carte
add-ons
and all
and
that.
extras,
Don't get me wrong, but
Yeah.
we still need more. When you
Yeah.
have 5 grown men in my house,
Oh,
pretty much.
No,
Yeah, it's ugly.
I have 2 in mine, and it's hard enough. 2 sons.
But the beef is, I mean, like you had me at beef. Like there's that movie, like you had me at hello, like you had me at beef. When Christian called me up, I mean, I've been getting the products and using them for, I think, 10 years, something like that.
Yeah.
But when you told me they finally, because they didn't deliver the beef on Maui for a long time,
Yeah.
and then finally they did. And what's really cool about this company is that they were here distributing millions of dollars worth of products for free right after the
Yep.
fire, including beef. So trucks would show up with just truckloads of free products for the Lahaina fire survivors. So thank you, Christian, for putting together the program. I know
Yeah,
it's been
for sure.
super successful. I know hundreds of you have raised your hand and said you're interested, but if you haven't done that yet, please go to Lahaina, switchforlahaina.com. I'll put a link in the description. I'll put a link in the description for Daniel's GoFundMe as well. And we're actually getting ready.
Oh yeah, right on time.
We wanted to talk story with you guys, but also we're getting ready to go to a movie. So we thought, what should we do for the next half hour? We're like, oh, I know what. We need to talk to the most aloha infused audience on planet Earth, which we know you guys are. And it's just a beautiful Sunday here. We've got the West Maui Mountains right behind us. We've got Daniel right here next to us. And the Maui magical molecules are floating around in the air. I always just think it's the glory of God, but whatever, you feel it. That's what I think is going on here on Maui, if you want to know the truth. I think when you land here, I truly believe that you feel the presence of God more than other places, and because I think it is a spiritually pure place. I really do. I truly believe that.
Good people.
Yeah, good people, man.
Good people, good energy.
Yep.
We got the following here is strong. The Anglo Judaism. We went to church today. The message, there's gratitude. There's joy in the house of the Lord. You can't really over talk how it is that Eric's voice, the familiarity, and how he gets me through when I was on the mainland and hearing all the descriptions of the places he visits and the descriptive language through and up and down the beach walks on his one wheel and things he's kind of got distracted from with pressing important, vitally serious issues happening and question marks all over. But the audience and the most aloha infused each and their politeness and you get 2 for 1 at least. You get Eric and Lisa on the job and they're touted because they earn it. That's who I'm going with.
Well, thank you, Daniel. That means a lot, man. I appreciate that shout out.
Aloha, Eric.
Aloha, brother.
Great to be here with Christian. First time, because that's what.
Well,
Thanks, everyone.
Well, we've run into some kind of weird glitch with the video. Here we go. We're back. We don't know exactly where we lost you, but Daniel, somewhere in there, the video glitched out. But that's just what it is when you're dealing with 3G, 5G, and/or no G. But
In a certain language, they smell you going down the wrong rabbit hole, and they're like, "Wait, we better go ahead and pre-censor this. Hold on."
we better pre-censor it exactly because they're going to
I
post.
might say the C word.
And if you guys missed the interview with Michelle Melendez a couple days ago, please go get her book. It's amazing. The Great Maui Land Grab. Unfortunately, it's a real thing. We also have Sound the Alarm by Stephanie Parucci and Tracy Irwin. So get that book as well. Links will be in the description. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. We appreciate it as always. It's a joy and a pleasure.
Prayers for your mom, Maui Dan.
Prayers
Aloha.
for your Maui. Yes. Maui Dan, congratulations to your daughter. Where's the button? And we shall return. We don't know where, we don't know when, but we can promise you one thing. It will be from the most beautiful place on planet Earth, the best lifestyle I think you can find anywhere. Yeah. Have you noticed we've been sitting here this whole time? We're very comfortable. It's like the heat of the day, essentially, 3 o'clock. You don't see us swatting any mosquitoes or, we're not sweating. We're in the shade because we're not stupid. But it's comfortable, right? Maui is just It feels like a comfortable, cool cotton T-shirt, like your favorite pair of jeans.
Yeah.
It just feels good, and that's why they want it, but they're not going to get it, right? They're not going to win. It's because of everyone doing their part. It was sort of like the message in church today was like everyone just needs to answer the call. Whatever the call is that God has for you, if you answer it, then the plan will come forth. And this is a worldwide call. It's just not Maui. It's just everywhere.
Yes, call your senator, call your state representative,
Right.
call the governor's office,
And get on your
make a call to their secretary, and at least leave a message when they're heard. They advocate for their constituency because they value their position of authority, and they're blessed by God to be able to get in that position. So
Yep.
you voice your opinions, and they do work for you in the United States of America. So,
and then get on your knees and make that call to heaven and get your marching orders for the day, for the week, for the month,
Listen for God's voice
and
to
together I
elucidate.
believe we can all make God's plan unfold, and then the evil one shall depart. I do believe so. With that said, guys, thank you so much. We're gonna watch Reagan. What time we got, Christian?
3:45.
3:45, right on time. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe. We are shadow banned, unfortunately. But with your click of the thumbs up button, the subscribe, and throwing a comment down, and please leave a comment specifically for Daniel, for Christian. Show him your aloha. And like I said, links will be in the description as well if you want to support Daniel. We're looking to raise money to help get him permanent housing once his FEMA runs out, help get him a van so people can come over and couch surf and drive around the van, and he can play his ukulele, open up coconuts, and go surfing on the ocean. And I know
you can
that
message me on my Facebook Messenger, Daniel Bennett, and look for pictures of me on it. I can't answer friend requests, but I can do the messaging part of that. So we can
just
talk
Daniel
story.
Bennett on Facebook. All
Daniel
right.
Bennett, and type in Maui, and there'll be like 4 or 5 other notorious and infamous Daniel Bennetts, and then you'll find me somewhere there meekly just being an individual. It looks much different than all the rest of them. So
The mayor out of office. I didn't stutter my teeth.
thanks for tuning in. I didn't.